Hey everyone, it's Jamie Broderick. Welcome to the Master Class for May 2017. I am thrilled to introduce you to Amy Hoke this month. She was wrangled onto Facebook Live last year, and she's become unstoppable. She keeps jumping online and giving us these inspirational messages, which are incredible. I caught a few of them and I said, I want you to do a masterclass, girl. So here she is today. She's going to be talking about overcoming fear and making an impact in the world, which is one of my favorite topics. Amy is brand ambassador. Is that the correct title for Lavelle?
Promoter.
Brand promoter for Lavelle. And what she does, though, as a leader of her group is why she's so inspirational. She doesn't just sell products. She basically empowers others to live a life they deserve, which, oh man, I love that. So good. So how are you, Amy?
I am great. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much for having me on today. And thanks everyone for joining. And I'm so grateful to be talking today about this topic that I am really, really passionate about. So again, my name is Amy Hoke. I'm, like Jamie said, I'm an elite member of Success Connections, formerly Network Now, and very grateful to be here today. And I found Success Connections about a year ago, and recently joined in the past maybe 6 months after I started my entrepreneurial journey 3 years ago when I joined Lavelle.com and started a business as a brand promoter for the Thrive Experience. So I get to help people feel their best and live a life that they deserve. I think with this topic, it's also important to know that I am trained in social work. I have a background in social work. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in social work from Fordham University, and I have a lot of experience in mental health, healthcare, most recently part-time in oncology, in a local oncology program here in Upper Bucks County. So more importantly, I'm a mom, wife, daughter, friend, sister, change agent. I'm slightly obsessed with empowering others. I am a teacher, a lifelong learner, a connector, and I believe in change, and I have a passion for helping others. So there's another piece of the life experience of mine that I think will be helpful for you to know as we're talking about this. So when I was in 10th grade, I was in class. I asked to be excused. I went to the guidance counselor, and I said, there's got to be something more. I am kind of done with this environment. I need a break. Can I go to private school for a year? Can I go to boarding school for the year? What is out there? And they suggested that I'm a Rotary Youth Exchange student. So that fall, I took off for New Zealand, lived there for a year. This was before cell phones, and I wrote letters to my family. I was 16 years old, lived with multiple families, went to an all-girls school wearing a uniform, and made this huge claim, and they even printed it in an article in the newspaper that I wanted to be an astronaut. Talk about dreaming big and thinking big. So, I also, as a child, heard messages about you can do whatever you want to. Whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve. And so that sounds like a pretty good formula for success, right? For following your dreams and going for it. So I just thought this statistic was really incredible. And it's in a recent study within the past year, 78.0% to be exact, adults don't end up following through with their career path that we wanted when we were about 6. That's huge. And, was I really going to be an astronaut? But probably not. But I was dreaming big at that time. So what kind of happens? That's when I started growing in my business, looking at fear, trying to conquer it, I thought about what happened from when I was that exchange student there to, being more comfortable in our lives and, I came home from New Zealand. Great things happened. I went to college, both bachelor's, master's, got married. I have 2 beautiful children. Those are all like amazing things to happen. But I feel like culturally, we get steered down a path. We start following a lot of rules. Things get reinforced that we're supposed to act a certain way and be a certain way. And we never hear anything about being an entrepreneur, right? In my career, it was great. I was born to be a social worker. I can do that. I can walk into an emergency room and help somebody on the spot. So when I became a mom, though, I really started thinking about being a business owner, and I kept talking about it, all different types of businesses, and I never took action on it. And I really think about, why is that? That was 11 years of saying, I would like to do this, or I would like to do this. Why did I never take action? So 3 years ago, I started a business with Lavelle, and it was after having my own experience with the product. I took off. The first half of my first year, it was like a rocket ship. I actually couldn't believe it, and I think it was like faster than I could handle. And then the second half of the year started to deal with some of the things that all entrepreneurs deal with that I did not know were about to happen. People's opinions. How can I get to the next level? That seems so overwhelming. I've gotten here, but how do I get there? All these different thoughts. But the one thing that I never, ever did was quit. I made that decision from the beginning that I would learn and I would continue to forge forward. And I thought to myself, just from me not quitting, I know that this story can help somebody else. So the second part of that year was all about, last year actually, growth and learning and mindset and studying fear and energy and what you put out into the world, and accepting abundance and living abundantly. And I thought to myself, you know all about this. Your background is about change and changing thoughts and empowering people. And I know that there are bigger stories than mine. And of course, I'm living out some pieces. Recently I was able to meet hear Amy Purdy speak in Dallas. She has an incredible story about overcoming, losing her legs, and she's an incredible speaker, TEDx. Rick and Dick Hoyt, if you know that, they've overcome huge things. But is my connection good, Jamie? It looks like
it went out there for like half a second.
Okay. So mine is, less adversity than that, but fear still creeps in on all of us. I didn't have to overcome huge, huge things, but it was huge for me. So 2 key points that I think, they really hit home with me are, last week I had the privilege of meeting Seema Alexander. And the one thing, when I thought about me not quitting in my business, and I always think about my why, right? But something she expressed to us is, there's something bigger than your why. You have a mission. You have something called a stand. That hit me. That's probably the biggest takeaway that I had last week. And the other thing she said is, in the second and third year of your business, growth is normal. And I was like, hooray, I'm on track here. So I'm right on track. I'm doing the right thing. And the other thing that I, wanted to touch on, another person that I kind of follow, is Brendon Burchard. And I told you kind of about my journey, because when you have competency, I was competent as a social worker. I was competent as a teen, as far as, I'm going to leave here and go to New Zealand for the year. I had no fear then. So I had this competency built in for those experiences. But building a business, I didn't have any competency. So, and that's okay. You're allowed to learn. It's okay to be vulnerable and take some time as you're building your business to focus on reading and webinars and every piece of information that you can soak in. So what he talks about is competency builds consistency. To take action, even if you're taking small steps, you have to stay consistent, because that consistency builds that competency, and it builds your confidence, and it lessens your fear. So like I said, I was confident going to New Zealand. I was confident as a social worker. As a business owner, I didn't know what I was doing. I just know I loved this product, this company, and I was running with it. So how did I get here on the Zoom call today? On January, I had to go back because Jamie has been wrangling me into doing Facebook Lives, but I had to go back to that live when I was developing my presentation for today. And it was on January 11th, 2017, that I talked about what holds you back. And the interesting thing is, I came on with that video after a 4-month hiatus of doing Facebook Lives. The truth and the background, it probably took me about an hour to press live that day. And it's ironic because the 4 things I talked about, it was, let's see, I wrote it down. Time. People are held back by time. They're held back by thinking it's not the right timing. Their comfort zone and fear. And here I was coming on, I'm struggling to press that live. I needed the dog to be quiet. All these things were happening, right? I was not putting these great things out into the universe. And that hiatus broke my momentum. I didn't have consistency. My confidence was down, and the fear sets in, and we start telling ourselves these stories. What if I don't look great on camera? What if I forget what I'm going to talk about? So we just keep telling ourselves these stories. So the question really is, what if I didn't press that live button? I would not be here right now. I would not have this opportunity, other opportunities that have been open to me. I wouldn't be able to share this, which is something I am completely passionate about. What if I allowed the fear of rejection to overpower looking back and having that fear of not doing it or regret? And that is huge. The other part about these videos, and this is just one thing that I've had to overcome, is that the feedback I've gotten, while there are some people that might think like, who does she think she is, or why is she sharing this? I am completely overwhelmed by people that I would never expect telling me that I'm inspiring them. And that is, my goal was to inspire one person, and I've had multiple people come to me because I stepped out of my comfort zone. I know I have something to share that can help others. So today, I really, as we dive in on fear, I really hope that rather than just being notes or thoughts filed in the back of your mind, that something that I say today helps catapult you into taking action on something today. Because often, we hear different webinars, we're on calls, we're reading, and we file it away. But I would love, and for somebody to share that with me if you take action today. So I'm going to read from my notes here because I actually looked up the definition of fear. And it is an unpleasant emotion or thought that you have when you are frightened or worried by something dangerous, painful, or bad that is happening or might happen. And the thing is, fear is normal. It serves us from time to time. It can be a good thing. It lets us know that there's danger. We have that built-in fight or flight response, right? That kicks in and protects us. But then there's the difference between perceived fear and real fear. And that's the perceived fear is what I want to talk about today. That's what holds us back. I'm not going to be talking about real fear or getting over huge life traumatic experiences. But people can, or debilitating anxiety. I'm talking about that little anxiety that sometimes serves us as a way to catapult us to overcome our fears. I'm talking about the perceived fear, the stories that we tell ourselves, and the thoughts that make our comfort zone really, really comfortable. I wanted to get interactive, so if some of you can mute or maybe add some information into the chat, I would love it. What are some of the fears that we have in life, in business, that hold us back from pursuing our dreams or becoming successful?
What's the biggest fear? Public speaking, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And James, you're about to dive into the speaking realm, right, my friend? I unmuted you.
Yes, I am fighting through to start doing my speaking.
Oh, that's awesome, James.
Introduce yourself, James.
I'm James Lucas. I'm the owner of Grape Cat. We sell high-quality vegan and eco-friendly clothing made without cruelty at grapecat.com.
And his story is so powerful, so he needs to have a speaking platform to get that message out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was lucky, privileged enough to hear a little bit about it at the conference last week, and it is really powerful, and I think so many people need to know about it. What are, Jamie mentioned public speaking, what are some other fears or stories we tell ourselves that hold us back?
I've actually had people call me or text me and say they were quitting their business because they reached out to potential clients and they didn't hear back from them. Wow. I'm like, you're making up the reality. You have no idea why they didn't call you back.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're a failure.
Exactly. I mean, people are busy. It's that changing that story or changing that thought. We're so concerned about why the person hasn't called us back, and we think it's a reflection of us.
Right. And sales calls are a big issue. People are afraid to pick up the phone and make that call or reach out to somebody. But it's not about selling. It's about matching that person who needs what you have with what you have to offer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of really, it's more responsible of you to offer that to them because you can really help them.
Absolutely. I see Marissa in the chat. We know she's in a public place, so she's going to use the chat here. She says, I totally have a fear of rejection when it comes to video. To be completely vulnerable here, it took me a full day to share the video of me at the conference last week. Because all I saw was a gimping along, I say, with your foot and looking the way I wanted to. It's huge. I mean, I can really relate, Marissa. I was a person that didn't like photos taken of me, and I can't believe that I'm sitting here. But that fear of rejection can be so overwhelming and just take over. And what we see at that conference, your gifts were amazing. And we are all our worst critics, but what we all saw there was, I'm just in awe of you following your passion and leaving your full-time job and doing what you love and being able to share your talent with us that day. So I know that we all kind of do that to ourselves. I do the same thing. Sometimes it's a fear of loss. Like, for instance, when you left the job, it's a whole new change. And I have a little story. When I was going to New Zealand, all of the people that were my friends, I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot were concerned about the things I was going to miss my junior year, the prom, all these different things, hanging out with them. And it was this fear of losing something. I didn't have it. I was able to turn that off, I guess, and keep going. But they did. They were worried about me missing out on it.
But Amy, that's always the way. If you're going to get something else, you need to give up something.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It is. Yeah. sometimes we fear the process, like how long will it take, that if we have any disappointments, what if I fail, and I struggle with that word, because I think, when you get to the point that you can look at it as a learning opportunity rather than a failure, we all are going to fail at different things. And, but it's just kind of pushing forward and being okay with that. We also focus on the destiny instead of the journey most of the time. So if you can focus on the journey and know that it's learning and it's exciting, and I wake up thinking, who am I going to meet and what am I going to learn today? And it's a totally different mindset than I had before. So thank you, everyone, for participating in that. And the other thing is, we're never completely fearless. We are always dancing with our comfort zone. All of us. You can't be completely fearless, but knowing your fear, being able to move past it is huge. Another thing that has struck me, like probably in the last 4 months, that Mel Robbins talks about, Gary Vee talks about it. If you're in network marketing, Bob Heilig talks about it. It's the statistic of 400 trillion to 1. And I had to actually look it up to kind of see where they got that from. And scientists actually pulled those statistics and facts. Those are the odds that you're even here. So, we all have these phrases like, life is short, you only live once. And we know these and we believe them. But why don't we act, on stepping out, taking action, following our dreams, knowing that? But when I heard 400 trillion to 1, and those are the odds of me even being here, of all of us being here, that hit me hard. That is so powerful. If you could wake up every morning and just say that to yourself or have it written down somewhere, you just take off. You are soaring, right, that day, and just continue to say that over and over. The key to having an awareness that we have these fears and the strategies, that's the thing. We need to have an awareness that we have the fear, and it comes through education and learning and being okay with the journey, like I said, and then having some strategies to get over the fear and overcome the thoughts that might derail us from following our dreams and being successful. Does anybody have a situation that they want to share where they overcame something? It could be something so small, but it's really big, that you pushed fear aside and you conquered something. We'll take a minute.
Well, I know Marissa will say quitting her job, making that commitment. The day she was going in to do it, she jumped on the group chat from the Florida retreat and said, I'm on my way to do it. And everybody was cheering her on and there to catch her if she fell. It was awesome. We were all there together in the HR department.
Awesome. You had your tribe behind you.
Yeah, it's huge. Yesterday I was interviewed by Christine on Rocket Out Radio. And one of the things we talked about was the importance of having a support network. It's just less scary that way.
Yes. Yeah.
How about you,
that can lift you up.
Anything?
She wrote, I had so much support from my tribe.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
Jamie, I know you did some zip lining, right? That was something in the past year that was huge, that led to big things.
Well, that was incredible. I did this amazing adventure retreat challenge course, and it made me want to have a retreat of my own. So I did this ropes course in Florida with my daughter, and she was on the other side cheering me on. You got this, Mom.
Oh, I love that.
And I refused to be rescued. And I took all my mental and physical focus to get through that course.
Yeah.
And by the time I came down that last zip line, I felt like I could conquer the world.
I bet.
It's like, oh my gosh, I can do anything. If I could do that, I can do anything. And I decided right then, with the harness still on me, that I needed to share that experience with everyone. And
Yeah.
that's how I came up with the adventure retreat that we're having in September, which I am thrilled to announce that Amy is going to be one of our group discussion leaders. That's amazing.
Very excited. Yes.
Yeah, so
Thanks.
Soar to New Heights in New York State, September 17th to 19th. We'll be doing a little ropes challenge course ourselves. You don't have to be 5 stories up like I was. You can stay low to the ground.
Okay.
Wherever it is that you push yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
That was my 3rd time. So being that high up was, I earned that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm excited about September.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone watched the Today Show today, but my friend Tammy Leader Fuller, she owns Camp Powerment, and they were featured on the Today Show. And that's like adventure, and the whole adventure weekend, right? So
Wow.
Jenna Bush and Natalie Morales went to Camp Powerment, which I went to a couple of years ago. That's how I met Joan Kimmel. We were bunkmates. But they were up there way, way up on the high wires.
Wow.
And Natalie was doing great. And Jenna was like freaking out, shaking, screaming the whole time. Oh my God. So, but she survived. You're not going to die.
No, you're not. That's right.
Just get so inspired. Anyway,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we'll dive back into, the how to. How do you conquer your fears? How do you change your thoughts? And, I told you a little bit about my background in social work and, how I was struggling in my business and saying to myself, hello, you know this stuff. You tell other people how to do it. And I know that that's common. We all have a specialty and sometimes we help others with it, right? It's the shoemaker story. But the key is to have that awareness and identify the fear. Then you're going to challenge those stories and challenge those thoughts. And that's really, something that I kind of subscribe to. And with my background in social work, it's basic cognitive behavioral strategies that anybody can use. So for instance, today, right, I'm here on Zoom giving this I just am so excited about this, but you can start thinking about all these different things that might go wrong. And one was, is my dog going to bark? Well, I have him in his own little spot now. So I took care of that. But, you can let these thoughts creep in. What if no one dials in? What if I don't teach them anything? What if everything I have to say, they already know? So you can start having those thoughts creep in. But what you need to do is replace them with other thoughts. So you recognize it, you stop it, and you replace it with a different thought. I'm so grateful for this experience. My knowledge and expertise is going to be valuable to someone, to everyone. Even if it's one little piece. It totally changes the way you feel about the situation. So it's that basic cognitive behavioral strategy. Change your thought, you're going to change your feeling, and it changes everything about the experience. So you're replacing and you're reprogramming those thoughts and perceived fears. Then it's all about taking action. And like we talked about before with Brendan Burchard, action consistently, small or big, moving forward, builds that competence, builds the confidence, decreases your fear, and you can move through it and take action and hit a goal that you've wanted to hit. So Jamie talked about a tribe. I think that's super important. I wrote down some more tips that have helped me over the past 1 to 2 years as I'm building my business and growing as an entrepreneur. To accept that growth and learning are part of it, I think that's huge. A decision not to quit. When I made that decision, no matter how long it took me to grow, build, hit goals, my decision firmly was to not quit. A decision to be consistent, and it might not always be at the same speed. Like I might be, having a really great week where I'm killing it, right? Like you're getting so many things done. But as long as you're consistent, like people, are watching and they're wondering, if you let a few days go by, is she even in this business anymore? So you have to be consistent, and I see that on social media. Like you said, Jamie, with, somebody was told or didn't get a call back and they want to quit, lose the comparison to others. That is something you have to lose. Completely lose that thought. Everyone is different. And we all know that, but it's so hard when we are thinking about that for ourselves. I think another thing that I really learned is it's okay to be vulnerable and to share that with others. Starting with gratitude is huge. Gratitude for being here right now, being able to spend the hour with all of you. Gratitude for what I have accomplished. Start every day like that. And that is huge. I know journaling really works because you can get your thoughts out and, get them out, put them in a place and be able to take action after that. I don't know if any of you have an accountability partner. I have an amazing accountability partner. I mean, we've been partners for the past 2 years, and we kind of connected at our annual conference in Dallas. And ever since then, we keep each other going. We don't let each other not be consistent. That is huge and has helped me so, so much. And Marissa and Jamie both talked about a tribe, a positive tribe that is behind you. And I see one of Marissa's comments that sometimes, the people in the group from the retreat understand you more than your own family. And that happens. I mean, that's happened to me. Sometimes like closest friends, they see us in one role, and that's okay. And I always say, like, love them where they are, and you have a different relationship with them. And when it comes to your business and growing, you find a tribe that's like-minded and doing the same types of things that you're doing. Understanding that you will hear no's when you're trying to ask somebody for something. You're going to hear no's. I don't know if you saw a Facebook Live I did the other night about no's, but Walt Disney heard no 302 times. How he kept going, that's amazing. So that 303rd time brought us the Magic Kingdom. I mean, that's a lot of no's. So he was looking for funding for for Magic Kingdom, and he just kept going because his mission, his stand was so strong. Know that you'll hear others' opinions, but when your mission and your purpose is so big and so great and you're serving others, it's so important to you, nothing can stop you. Every once in a while, we might fall down or get derailed. And it's important to recognize those thoughts we're saying to ourselves, recognize those fears, and get right back up and keep going. I love what Brene Brown says. I don't know if you've seen this TED Talk of hers, but when you step into the ring, you're now out there. You're going to hear things from other people. But unless that person is also willing to step into the ring, you say to them, I hear you, and that's okay that you think that way, but I'm moving on. So remember that. You have stepped into the ring, just like she says, and that takes a lot of courage and a lot of pushing fear aside. And if somebody has an opinion about that, unless they're willing to step into that ring too, say, I hear that opinion, but I'm moving forward. So one last interactive piece. There are so many great things on the other side of fear, and I wanted to kind of open it up to hear what you think some of those things are, what they have been for you. I know, Marissa, you're on chat, so.
James, do you have any experiences with crushing fear, getting to the other side. Like getting on mic right now. But that crushing fear is what the retreat, for instance, is all about. The reason I'm doing these 2 retreats, Florida and New York, is because so many times over the last 10 years with Success Connection / network now, that's the biggest thing that's held people back, is that they've just been stuck in fear. They're afraid to put themselves out there, price themselves right, whatever it is, to move themselves forward. So these retreats are real confidence boosters. It's about pushing your boundaries and shifting your mindset, seeing what's possible. Everyone's got some greatness in them. They need to just share that with the world.
Yes, and with a group of people that are doing the same thing, and that's so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, before the call, I was talking to Amy about, think about the people that have been fearless, and what if they hadn't done what they have been doing lately? So for instance, Kristen Smedley is a member of the Success Connection. She was a TEDx Lincoln Square speaker in March. Yeah. What if she had been afraid? What if she had been afraid to come on the call with John Lee Dumas? We had a VIP power call with him, and ask that question about how to niching down. He's the one who guided her and said, you need to be talking to the moms of those kids that are getting diagnosed. That's who you need to talk to. Even though you want to get funded and get attention from pharmaceutical, you need to be talking to the moms, because that's where your experience started. So that was the first piece. What if she had been afraid to get on that call and get that information, ask that question? Yeah. What if she had been afraid to hire Trisha to help her become a speaker? What if she'd been afraid to apply for the TEDx? What if she had been afraid to connect with Comcast? She wouldn't have had that commercial. It's a national commercial. What if she'd been afraid to go to all these events? And she's like now the go-to person. She's created this amazing platform in just the last year. Yeah. Just been fearless. None of that would have happened if she just had said, I can't, I'm afraid, what will people say? I don't want to share my story. Think of all the people she's impacting now. It's incredible. Millions.
It is incredible. I remember that call. I don't know if I was on it or watched the replay, but I remember her asking that question. Yeah. And it's just taking that step and putting yourself out there and knowing that the regret is so much bigger than the reward and what you can accomplish and all those people that she's serving. It's amazing. She's so inspiring.
Yeah. So that's one of our speakers at the retreat, Soar to New Heights in September, is Jen Groover, because you said a few times already, overcome the fear, that fear of, overcoming. You'd rather have the fear than the regret. Yeah. Like Jen talks about that all the time. That's what drives her to move forward and do scary things all through her career.
I'm excited to meet her there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Marissa wrote, on the other side of fear is discovery of my own strength. Absolutely.
Right.
We all have what we need right inside of us. And sometimes we don't know that, but by taking that step or that leap, we discover, how strong we really are. Thank you for sharing that, Marissa. So some of the things I came up with that are on the other side of fear are confidence, being okay with change, happiness, joy, a new journey, meeting so many incredible people. I have met so many incredible people over the past 2 years. And if I would have never stepped out and put myself out there, I would have never met them. Inspiration is on the other side of fear. Courage, like Marissa said, strength, joy, that is on the other side of fear. Feeling brave, having more time and living with intention and hope. It's all on the other side of fear. So those are so many awesome things to feel if we can just put that fear in its place and move forward.
It's really good. One thing you talked about early on was abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So abundance versus scarcity mindset. Do you want to touch on that a little bit? Would you explain what that is for those that don't know?
Yeah, so the scarcity mindset is like that fear of missing out, or knowing that, the opposite of scarcity, abundance, is just knowing that you're living abundantly. You're putting that out there and you can receive that back. But if you're worried all the time and scared and thinking about what you don't have, and how will I get to that point, that is that scarcity mindset that holds us back. And when I learned that was huge. Has anybody else kind of had that enlightenment, and has that helped them in any way?
Well, I think when people discover that abundance mindset, they really can embrace collaboration, rather than competition.
Yes.
Like there is an abundance of wealth out there. There's enough for business for everyone. Work together and you'll both thrive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did you talk about? Let me see. Yeah, you talked about execution. So you can't just you want to be constantly learning. Sometimes the best way to learn is to just go for it and try it. Right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Something I didn't share is I had, and I'm sure this is somebody's term, I don't know whose, so I'm quoting somebody here, but that analysis paralysis, I had that, and that's debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about doing something and having all these fears come in, instead of just taking action and being okay with it maybe not being perfect, and that is perfect, that you just went out there and took that action.
Right. What are you waiting for? Life is now. And it's sometimes it's things like just getting your headshot done. People are like, well, I don't really like my hair right now. I'm like, you're not getting any younger, honey. Just get your photo taken. Or like Rhonda Heffern was at the Florida retreat. And for her, the shift was about doing all the things that she had been thinking about doing all her life.
Yeah.
And she never did. So she went to the Culinary Institute and did a week-long cooking class. She sent her daughter on like a dog sledding camp. Oh, like, wow, that's so cool.
That is so cool.
But if you just talk about it, someday is today. Let's do it.
That's right. Someday is today.
Yeah.
That's right. When I was looking at just doing my research about fear and preparing for this, I don't have her name here in my notes, but there's a young woman. She gave a TED Talk. It's all about 100 days without fear, and she did some incredible things. Incredible. I'll actually put it in the notes in the event. I have it here, but skydiving and holding a spider, and she was very fearful growing up, but she made herself and it was a project from school, 100 days of no fear, and she's now soaring and taking on things that she never thought that she could.
Right. Awesome. Part of that is conquering the fear, and part of that is experiencing new things, like Luann Kahn did, the 365 days of trying something new. Yes. It changes you as a person. You can't not grow personally. There's a note from Marissa if you want to read it.
As you were talking to me, the picture I get of the difference between living a life controlled by fear and living the life you're meant to live is like comparing driving on a closed course with driving on a beautiful open road with endless possibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, Marissa.
That is. Right there. There's your way with words are incredible, and it just creates this visual, and it's so true. Just that freeing feeling. And, like I talked about, how did I get on a plane and go to New Zealand? Then life happens and you start becoming a little fearful and I should be on this path, and getting back on that open road again is an incredible feeling.
Yeah, live your life. Don't live the life that you think people expect of you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. Anything else, you guys? We're at the top of the hour here, almost at a full hour. I love your point about starting the day with gratitude.
Yeah.
It really sets your mind for the day.
It really does. Yeah. Instead of thinking what you don't have or what you haven't accomplished, thinking about what you have accomplished and what steps you have taken and what you have, the abundant life that you already have.
Right. So how about we leave everyone with some potential action steps? So number one, potentially they could start tomorrow with some gratitude. Do that for a few days, see how that feels. What else could they do? Takeaways.
Yeah, they get an accountability partner, somebody that's going to push you forward when you're not feeling it, that, those couple of days. You have that person that will push you forward, that will be honest with you, that will keep you going, and you're doing the same for that person. Another thing is you could do that. And just remembering that, stopping and thinking, what am I telling myself? Are these fear-filled stories that I'm telling myself? What is going on in this moment? And let me come up with a thought to counteract that one and see how you feel. You will feel completely different. Absolutely.
Right. And then make a commitment to be consistent about something. So for instance, Karen DeHaven at AHA Studio, she said for 40 days, I'm going to do a Facebook Live and dance, because she's a movement and dance coach, therapist. But if she had stopped after a week, would be like, what?
Yeah.
It's 40 days, it's 40 days. So
yeah.
Right.
And I mean, it was awesome to watch her do that. I mean, her bravery was incredible. I watched her one day in the airport. I just thought,
my favorite one.
Was so awesome doing that in front of all these people, waiting for a plane and just having fun and loving it. It was a beautiful thing. I shared a couple of her dances on Facebook because it was really, really powerful.
That's fun.
But that consistency also builds trust,
Mm-hmm.
So when you're consistent and you're saying you're going to do the things that you do, I think it also builds trust too.
That's so true. Yes. And I would say, when you get, Amy, you exude the qualities you shared with us here. Thank you for saying yes to your own joy. It's contagious.
Thank you.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Amy stepped up and took advantage of this opportunity to be featured in a masterclass. So once a month, we feature a member of the Success Connection, and it's an opportunity for you to step into that market leadership space and to get visibility. So this replay will be put onto the YouTube channel and shared across social media. And Amy, you are now seen as a leader in the eyes of the world. This is awesome.
I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and it's just been awesome. Thank you for everyone for being here with me for this hour and allowing me to share something that I'm so passionate about.
Yeah, it comes across. Definitely.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, take care.
Have a great day.